All right, welcome to the session on dignity and work, and this is part of a series that I'm working on called Community Matters. We've done one on poverty, one on race, and now one on work. And so today we're going to be considering some resources that can be helpful in work. One is written by Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and it's called All Labor Has Dignity. And then there's another one that's called Work in the Spirit by Miroslav Volf. And another one that's written by Pope John Paul II back in 1981 called Labor and Concerns. And so these different writers and the other ones that's listed up here is going to feed what we're going to talk about over the next hour. So we're going to go in two parts. We'll look at part one about work. We'll have some discussion questions for everybody to get involved with. And then we'll move to part two and look at some other issues about work and close with some other discussion questions. So it'll be one part of me talking and the other part of you guys interacting. So, what are we arguing for? Human beings are image bearers of God who receive a vocation. All right? As general as specific, to participate in a particular work of creation or cultivation meant to affirm personal dignity, support the lives of neighbors, and improve society. So human beings are image bearers of God. And so what do I mean by that? It's that each and every one of us have a creator. And our creator is God. And God is a personable being. God thinks, God has imagination, God is creative. But as we read in Genesis, God works. Okay? And what we mean by God works is in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And so in that act at the beginning of Genesis, God was at work making all of this that we exist in on a daily basis, making the sky and making the land and making the sea and making all the animals and the vegetation. And ultimately, his highest creation, he says that they're going to make man and woman in his image and likeness. And so just as God is a person existing in Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, God in turn makes multiple persons, mankind. And so we reflect who God is. We have the ability to work, we have imagination, we have creativity, and this is part of who we are as human beings and as persons. All right? The second thing is this, is that all of us are given a vocation. What is vocation? All of us are given a calling. All of us are given a calling. And so a calling can happen in a variety of different ways. All right? So calling can happen through internal reflection. And so I'm sitting, I'm writing, or I'm thinking, I'm thinking, what is it that I want to do in life? What is one of those ultimate questions of not only who I am, but where am I going? That middle question of, well, why am I here? What am I supposed to be doing? And everybody has a calling. It is that general calling. A calling to do what? A calling to do some type of work. All of us have a calling in general, all right? But then specifically, we want to figure out, well, what is it that I'm supposed to do? Like, what am I supposed to do in life? And so, different ways that we figure that out is through education. So we go to school, formal education, or we go through informal education. So you may work alongside somebody, like an apprenticeship or a discipleship. That type of education helps us, can help influence us for us to determine what is it that I'm supposed to do in this life. The other thing is community. When we're in a group of people, family, friends, whether it's your church, there are different people who are speaking to your life and say, hey, you know what? I see you. I think you could do this. Or I see you, and I see you're skilled in this way. You have an energy. You seem to be alive when you do such and so forth. And so not only is just our internal reflection, not only is education, formal and informal, but also we're in a community of people, whether it's family, friends, your church setting, or wherever. There are people that will speak into your life. They'll see something within you that you may not even see within yourself, or may actually confirm what you've seen in yourself and say, hey, you know what? Maybe that's what I'm supposed to do. And then obviously, it's human experience. When we walk outside of our door, or we're staying inside of our door, all right, and we interact with other people or with other objects, and we discover, like, wow, this energizes me. This is what I have a passion to do, all right? And so a combination of those four things: internal reflection, education, community, experience, can help us understand what is our specific call in life. And so we're men and women made in the image and likeness of God. We're persons. We have dignity. We've been given the charge to work. Second, we're called to do something. So all of humanity is given a general call to work, but then specifically, each of us have a work to do in this life. And so what about work? And so work is done with our heart. Work is done with our mind. Work should be done with our body. Work should be done with our soul. Work should involve all of who we are. And so we have dignity because we've been made in the image and likeness of God. That's a dignity that can't be taken away. All right. We've been given work to do, all of us, and so that work has dignity as well. And so the outcomes of work is this: the outcome of work is not money. All right. The ultimate end of work is not to make a dollar. The ultimate end of work is that it would affirm who you are as an individual, that it would be a benefit to your neighbor, and that work, whatever work that you're doing, the specific work that you're doing, that it would be a benefit to society. So it's threefold. Work is a benefit to yourself, work is a benefit to your neighbor, and work is a benefit to society. So work has an objective and subjective characteristics. What do I mean by objective? One, it's objective because we have skills, we have abilities to take a resource, whatever it is, something physical or even something that we can't see. I'm thinking of scientists, all right? And we take what God has created and we manipulate that, we adapt it in some type of way in order that it would benefit ourselves, our neighbor, and our society. So there's an objective thing that we do. I'm making a chair, or I'm making a mouse, or I'm making a table, or I am building a house. That is the objective aspect of work. There's a subjective thing, characteristic as well. And this is important. We are the engines of work. We are the engines of work. We drive work. So as we move through the process of work, we are the subjects of work. We are the engine, we are the subject. And so everything about work is that we are at the center. All right? Work was made for man. Man and woman were not made for work. Okay? Think about that. Work was made for us to be a benefit and a blessing to humanity. We were not meant to serve work. Think about that for a second. All the different ways, especially in our culture, we're made to serve work. Unending hours of work. Working in such a degree that we have little return. All right? Working in such a way that we're taking advantage of the labor that we do. Okay? Work was made for us in order that we would be blessed by it, our neighbor would be blessed by it, and our society would be blessed by it as well. So there's the objective, the subjective character of work. And so remember, work is for man and woman. We are not meant to serve work. What about the problems? And so obviously there are problems that's associated with work. So one is the experience in ourselves in society. As I mentioned, as we go out to work in whatever capacity you work, whether it's in the home or outside of the home, all right, there are times when we can reverse it. And we work in such a degree that we lose our joy, we lose our focus, we lose our passion for what we do. The second thing is alienation. Now, this happens more in the context of the workplace, okay, where we are working at such a level that we don't experience, once again, the joy of working. We don't experience the benefits of working. So you think about manufacturing companies. You think about an office where there is a boss who is so hard on his or her employees that those employees lose the passion or the desire to even work for that individual and or do the work that they have been hired to do. They experience alienation. So they don't want to go to work. All right, or they do go to work and they're so detached from what they do, they're not really experiencing the benefits of work. And then the problems of profit, property, and products. What I mean by profits. All right, we live in a capitalist system, okay, a free market system. All right, but capitalism unrestrained can take advantage of people and make them into objects because the ultimate end is money. So it moves the individual out of being the center of work. Or another way, you swing another type of system, like a socialist type system, where property becomes the end. It's not humanity, men and women who exist in that society, but it's the property that is made from those men and women that become the end goal. And so in that type of system, unrestrained, men and women can be used so that more property is taken from it. So profit and profit. So that's looking at who we are as persons, our vocation, as a calling, and we're called to a specific work. There are problems we face. Now let's talk about some of the things. Okay. Some questions for discussion that we'll bat around. The first one is this. What is the idea of work in America? How would you describe work? How has work been described to us living in this country?
Make a dollar.
Okay, make a dollar.
Just pushing, trying to get enough money to pay the bills.
Okay.
Of other necessities in the house.
Okay. What kind of, just a sub question, what kind of environment do you think that creates among people?
Stress.
Okay, stress.
Greed.
Okay, great.
The product or the experience, like it's about the money, so the product can be substandard, but you get the money for it. Or you make decisions where people don't matter, so you put the company in a place that's not healthy for the community.
I just don't think it takes, if you're just working for the money, then there's no joy in what you're doing, no appreciation of what you're doing, and your quality of work suffers.
Okay. So, what or who has influenced your calling in life? We looked at vocation as a general calling, it's given to all humanity, but then all of us experience a specific type calling. Who or what has influenced for you to understand what your calling in life is?
Teachers, parents.
Okay.
Life experiences.
Okay. What type? Let's dig a little deeper. What type of teachers? What type of experiences?
The kind of teachers that will take time to sit back and talk to you and find out, take a personal
yourself do need like opening the door.
Okay.
That influences like your calling.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
The need,
The need.
yeah, just when you encounter a need and you realize you can fill it, or you want to be equipped to fill it. That's
Okay.
what you said.
And, you know, for a lot of people, like to be themselves, when they find that something that gives them joy, gives them reason to where work doesn't feel like work anymore.
Okay. All right. So let's dig more into the subjective aspect of it and that feeling, that emotion that is evoked. When you're doing that thing repeatedly, meeting that need, what feelings evoked?
Feeling would be a sense of pride.
Okay.
Pride in yourself, pride in the creator.
Okay. Sense of pride. What else?
Meaning, purpose.
All right. Meaning and purpose. Happiness. So once again, let's remember that work being done involves the heart, the soul, the mind, and the body. All right. So when one discovers what their specific calling is, and that's translated to actual work, an objective work. All right. The subjective aspect that comes out is how I feel about as I am working. All right? Even when I'm tired and doing it, I feel elated that I'm doing it. All right? It's that language that people have used. I found what I was born to do. I found my purpose in life. That type of language. All right? And what is curious most times is those who are in work, what they're doing and getting compensated for is not the very thing that actually makes them feel alive. It's something else. Right? Something they do outside of what they get compensated for. And you have persons, all right, who do what makes them feel alive, and a byproduct of that is they get compensated. But I've met people who have left jobs where they have had an extreme amount of compensation and done something else that is fulfilling and have made less. Right? Studies have shown that in workplaces, money ranks very low on job satisfaction. Right? The amount of money made ranks very low on job satisfaction. What matters to those who are in the workplace, or wherever they are, is they are doing something in which they feel fulfilled. Whereas they feel as if when they come into the workplace and they've done an 8-hour day or a 12-hour day or a 4-hour day or even a 16-hour day, they feel as if they have accomplished something. This continual language of something within me, I have achieved my purpose. I'm achieving my purpose, and the other benefit, the compensation is how somebody else has been changed. And that's been shown in multiple studies here in America and also even overseas, that compensation actually ranks pretty low above all the other internal things that men and women are looking for. All right. So, any questions? All right, so part 2. So work is a good thing for men and women because through work, we have the opportunity to transform nature, adapting it to our needs, and achieve personal, neighborly, and societal fulfillment as human beings. And indeed, in a sense, realize the depth of our dignity as human beings. So we have the opportunity to transform nature. Okay, so we looked at vocation. So first is this. Let's talk about what is it that we do. What is it that you do?
I train women to become doulas or birth coaches. I am a birth coach. I help with lactation and childbirth process.
And what is it that you do?
Wash sheets and change diapers and do dishes and sweep
that you do?
I work for 10 jobs and try to make more contacts and do like the assignments.
Okay. What is it that you do?
I am volunteer director at Coven, helping others to get started on helping our different initiatives. And anything else that's needed around the office.
All right. So we have persons that are involved with birth, involved with maintaining a home, involved with hands-on jobs, involved with working with people and connecting with people. We have people that work on video. We have people that work in elected office. We have people that serve food. We have people that create or make food. We have people that own businesses and start businesses. All of these works, all right, are things that each one of us has been called to do. All right? And we've been called to do them to find personal benefit and satisfaction, all right, but also to be a benefit to our neighbor and to society. And so we take these different things. Now think about the things that you actually use. Okay? For a minute. Think about your specific work and the things you actually use. All right? Those things that you use are part of creation. Yes? Mm-hmm. And so those things that you use, you take, you assemble them in some type of way in order to bring about transformation. For instance, you spoke about washing sheets, right? All right? A sheet is a creative thing, okay? Which was the product of somebody else working, all right? And so whoever made the sheet took a creative thing, cotton or whatever, strung it together in order to transform your home. You transform your home by taking that creative sheet and cleaning it in order to give a transformation to the person that sleeps on that sheet, that family member. Right? Think about the things that you use and how you bring those things together, right, to bring about a transformation in somebody's life. And so it's more than just washing a sheet. That washing a sheet has significance. It is more than just making a phone call. That phone call has significance. It's more than just training someone. That training, you're taking a creative thing, knowledge, assembling it in such a way in order that it would be a benefit to somebody else, which will be a benefit to somebody else. All right? And so, this author named Andy Crouch, he identifies that there's two types of workers. There are those that are creators and those that are cultivators. Now, which one are you? Let me give this definition. A creator develops ideas and implements plans which produce, I want you to think about this, new technology to benefit others. Things that have never been done or existed before. Creators develop ideas and implement plans which produce new technology to benefit others, things never done or existed before. So, who and what comes to mind are creators? They have an idea, they develop a plan. They take elements of the existing creation to create something new that has never existed before. So the first thing I always think about is a fork. At one time, guess what we all ate? People ate their hands. And then somebody had the idea and came up with a plan to take wood, shape it in such a way that it became a fork. So no longer eating with hands, but now it was here. That fork is technology. Now, this is 10 years old. This did not exist 10 years ago. Somebody had an idea of how could I shove a radio, a computer, a phone, all into a camera, all into one box. And so that person with the one idea got a bunch of other people together who had ideas to create this. Yes? So we think of forks, we think of spoons, we think of phones, we think of lights. Edison said, how can I get a light out of the sky and put it in a bulb? So it can be in my home. So the old technology was what? A candle. Gave light. The new technology that gave light was a light bulb. Creators. All right. Next. Are you a creator or are you a cultivator? All right, what is a cultivator? Cultivators take care of what already exists and preserves what has been passed to us. Cultivators take what already exists and preserves what has been passed to us. So, are you a cultivator? Think of a person working in a restaurant. Okay? They come into that restaurant, they have been given an apron, they have been given a pad and paper or an iPad type thing, and they are told you do 1 through 5. You take these things, you make sure this area is clean, you make sure this food is taken to these tables, you make sure that the plates are taken out once they're done. These are cultivators, all right? Someone who works in the sanitation department here in the city of Conway, they are cultivators. They are tending to and taking care of the existing landscape or property or parks here in the city. These are cultivators. And so ask yourself now, let's talk about this. Are you a creator or are you a cultivator? Think about it for a second and then we'll come around.
Can you define cultivator one more time?
Cultivators take care of what exists and preserve what has been passed to us. How so?
It's like, I think starting things or creating things comes more naturally than like, oh, this is what's been going on,
Okay.
maintaining it.
Okay.
Like, think, like, ooh, let's try this, let's do this.
Okay.
So,
Who else?
Can you make both?
Can you be both? Let's talk about it. Describe it.
Well, it really depends on how broad, like, the creating technology, like, I wouldn't really consider it technology, but with what I do, I get volunteers together for events that we already have, but then there's things to put together, like the trunk or treat, which is completely new. Creating more aspects for the community to connect with them. So it's really doing a little bit of both.
Okay. But it was that event, something in your head that didn't exist anywhere else in the world. Okay. So there you go. So it's not as it existed anywhere else to be a benefit to yourself, to the neighborhood society.
I guess we'll
Cultivate. Okay. All right. Who else? So whether you are a creator or a cultivator, once again, I'm a person made in the image and likeness of God. I have dignity. The work that I do has dignity. And so everything I do has importance, right? To benefit not just myself, but my neighbor and society. That's one of the things I should keep driving home. What I do, whether I am the President of the United States or the street sweeper, I am a benefit to myself, to my neighbor, and to society. Okay? All right, so spheres of influence. It's where we work. All right. Some of us have a more social setting in which we work. Some of us have a more economic setting in which we work. Some of us is political, some is religious. All of these different spheres, social, economic, political, religious, people are working. People are being creators, or people are being creators, and some people are being cultivators. Each one of these areas. All right, think about social. So homemakers. Okay. Why is, discussion question, why is the work of a homemaker important?
If they're not there, their house falls apart.
Okay.
Next to life, have a family.
Okay. What else?
Like they're raising the next generation of people.
Okay.
So that's like necessary.
Okay. Let's look at economics. Why is a person who starts a business, and a business that's never existed before, or a business to produce a product that will benefit society, why are they?
They're helping to not only provide a product that society may need, but they're also, by creating this new business or technology, whatever it is, they're creating jobs for people that are in need of employment,
Okay.
helping change their lives.
Why is an entrepreneur important? Remember, entrepreneurs too can be creators or cultivators.
So you said it.
Entrepreneurs can be creators and cultivators. So she spoke about providing jobs, right? Why is an entrepreneur important?
Their idea may spark an idea in someone else.
Okay. They are demonstrating that characteristic of imagination, yes? Right? On a higher level than similar cultivators. I'm not saying cultivators are not imaginative, but that entrepreneur is a creator, they're just like somewhere else, right? Like I said, let's shove all this into one box. You know, most people be like, psh, are you kidding me? Right? But that creator, entrepreneur is like, no, that can be done. We're going to pull all this together to make it happen. Okay? What about those in the political world and the work that they do? Those that are elected, those that are appointed. Okay? What benefit does their work have?
The policies that they help get in place affect the lives of everyone in the country.
Okay? Think about the work that they do. What do they do? Policy is an outcome. All right? What else are they doing?
I don't know.
If they're making policies based off of what people need, they have to hear what they have to, get votes or hear people's voice.
Okay? What else?
They meet with other politicians and discuss the overall general feelings for everyone and what direction to go.
Okay?
They assess what's working, it needs to be maintained, and then what's not working, it needs to be improved,
Okay.
which could use cultivating and
All right. So in any organized society, there are persons that are making decisions, right? Any organized society. So whether it's here, like in the United States, or there was a tribe in South America somewhere, there are persons making decisions, decision makers, all right? They are assessing, they are listening, all right? They are coming up with some type of policy, all right, that is going to help shape the direction of the society. Okay? So their work is important. What about the work of religious leaders? What work are they doing?
Again, I did the same with the other three, that they help, they affect the lives of others in their community, about bringing them scripture and talking to them and helping them find God and helping to shape the community.
What else are they doing?
Help us remember that there's more than what we can see.
Okay. What else? Think about the human experience. Where do we expect religious leaders to be in the human experience?
Like a connection to God, helping people connect with God, and community. Like if there's trouble or something that happens, like rallying or a safe haven or something like that, where you can go and talk to them. And,
Okay. All right, good.
And they tend to lead the way on the work of poverty and with those in need in the community.
So, the work there is you. Whatever realm that you find yourself participating in, whether it's social, economic, political, or religious. And we have to remember that you are the subject of work. You are the subject of work. And so you are in the midst doing whatever, fill in the blank, and what you're doing affirms your dignity. Right? It's a blessing to you. That work is a blessing to you. But second, your work is a benefit to others, your neighbors. And so what you do is not to be held to yourself. Right? Your skills, your talents, your ability to cultivate or create, it somehow naturally should overflow into the life of your neighbor. And if you notice, I'm using different colors here, okay? That your neighbor is someone who is not like you. Your neighbor is someone who may not belong to your home or to your religious life or to your economic life, political life, or social life. Your neighbor. Your work is to benefit your neighbor. But it extends further than that. That your work is to be a benefit to society as well. And so as you are taking what is existing in nature and you are transforming nature either by being a creator or a cultivator, you're not only affirming your dignity, but you are working as well because of your calling, okay, to be a benefit to your neighbors. And then as you continue to improve how you do your work, as you continue to learn about your work and how it can be a benefit to others, it is a benefit to society. And so, all this to say that all of us here are interconnected in some way. Okay? All of us. How the homemaker takes care of her home, or his home, all right? How he or she raises their kids is going to be a benefit to me somewhere down the road. Because that child may run for office. That child may start a business. That child may, at some level, be my religious leader. But it has to do with the influence of that homemaker. Your work benefits yourself, it benefits your neighbor, it benefits society as well. Look at the importance of the homemaker. That individual who is cooking that food in Chili's right now, all right, he or she yes, it's being a benefit to him or herself because he or she is using a skill that they have been taught or that they enjoy. But then they're being a benefit to their neighbor, someone out there that's completely different. It's that customer. And the way that he or she cooks that food and takes care of that food, all right, is going to roll over into the health of that individual. If it's food that's undercooked, if it's food that is poor quality, right? It could harm the individual, but when it's done in a way that is productive and meaningful as a benefit to the neighbor is blessed. And then guess what? That neighbor says, hey, I had great food at Chili's. You should go eat there. How is that then a benefit to the cook? It keeps Chili's in business. It keeps that cook employed. It keeps other people employed. We're interconnected by virtue of the work that we do. And the work that we do benefits ourselves, our neighbors, and society. All right, so we've talked about this. Does your work involve creation or cultivation? Okay. So here's a question. How does understanding your work can improve the lives of neighbors and society change your view of work? Knowing now that what you do influences your neighbor and society, how does that change your view of what you do on a daily basis?
It makes you take more time on what you do and realize that you are making a bigger impact than anyone else.
Okay.
And more of a drive to make sure that you're the best you can.
It adds value and weight to it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? When you're impacting lives are being improved by what you're doing, et cetera, it makes what you do more impactful and valuable.
The purpose and the whole makeup of the organization or whatever it is that you're working in. The role of play, it's like dignity, gives you dignity in that you are an important part.
So this is one of the, as we're coming to a close, this is one of the important reasons to see people working. All right? Whether they have full capabilities or there are persons that are disabled, okay? That everybody has the opportunity to participate in some type of work, all right? Some type of work that has them thinking, all right? That has them involved, that has them interacting with other members of their society, all right? Because in working, guess what that does as well? That brings us in proximity with other people. Right? We understand more and more who we are as human beings, not in isolation, but as we're, guess what, working with somebody else. Okay? I understand who I am as a human being. Yes, as I'm manipulating an object. Okay? I like to build Legos. All right? So when I do that work of assembling together, I understand, well, I'm alive and breathing. This object is not. Right? But even more so when I'm working with another individual. When we're exchanging ideas, when we are communicating, when we are listening to one another, right? And that, when that happens, I understand more and more of who I am as a human being. And so then I put work, once again, in its proper perspective. That as I'm working with this person, I'm not seeking to manipulate him or her for my own ends, all right? But I'm using this opportunity of work to see that not only that I thrive, but he or she thrives as well. And then if $1 is made, okay, right? Somebody buys it, okay. If I get a smile, or a thank you, or a tip, or a pat on the back, okay. But the first thing is this, that me working, I understand who I am as a human being, and now higher bring this full circle. I understand who I am in the life of God, who has given me his dignity and worth as his image bearer, and then calls me to work with him in this creation. All right? God creates, God works, and now God is inviting me to work with him. He's inviting each and every one of us, whether we're at home, whether we're doing handyman work, whether we're in front of a computer, whether we're training persons, whether we're giving a vote. We are participating with God in this creation. So, in closing, Martin Luther King said this: all labor that uplifts humanity has dignity and importance. It should be undertaken with painstaking excellence. All right? You're going to be a star, be a star. You're going to be a tree, be the biggest tree you can be. You're going to be a shrub in the valley, be a shrub. Or whether you're a star or a tree or a shrub, be the best at what it is you've been called to be. And that is the dignity of work. Okay? Is that we have been made in the image and likeness of God. God has called all of humanity to work, and God then, through a variety of different ways, helps us understand what it is we're supposed to do in this creation. And then we use that work to be a benefit to ourselves, to our neighbors, and to society.